So once again, for the final session, we have Mr. Mark Anthony Abinir, a SOC 13 professor from the Ateneo de Manila University, who will share with us his experiences in using standardized impact assessment tools in order to measure the academic, personal, social, and civic learning of students in SOC 13. The sharing will also highlight how we use the same methods to measure the value of service learning projects from the perspective of partner communities. Mr. Abinir, the floor is now yours. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you very much, Leon. So again, thank you to our session participants for being here for this ADL learning exchange. So again, my take on this matter is to show you the assessment results now coming from students. So basically, why is this important? So I have three parts in my presentation: context, what I did, and lessons learned. So in terms of context, the importance of measuring service learning impact. So studies have shown that students are able to greatly benefit in multiple ways from their involvement in service learning programs, and it validates the efforts of educators who makes use of service learning as an experiential learning pedagogy. However, kamusta ang service learning in a purely online setting? Would it work? And lalo na may panganiban ng COVID-19. Are we just trying to push it para lang mangyari, or meron bang magandang nangyayari sa mga estudyante natin? So it is important to make these impact studies on students and the partner communities para mapakita natin yung data that could encourage continued institutional commitment to service learning and potentially expand faculty involvement in creating service learning courses. So because it requires learning the pedagogy. So may mga ibang faculty na parang, nakakapagod gawin yung service learning na yan. I need to talk to partner communities. Kailangan ko tumutok sa mga ginagawa ng mga estudyante. Pero is it worth the effort? As a teacher, what can we learn from this, especially in a purely online setup? Okay, so based from that context, so what did I do to be able to measure the impact? For students, I made use of standardized pre- and post-test instruments with excellent psychometric properties. So these are the Community Service Attitude Scales developed by Sharela, McCarthy, and Tucker, and the CELEB scale, or the Service Learning Benefit Scale, developed by Tongkar, Reid, Burns, Anderson, and Nguyen. So I requested the students to participate in answering a pre- and post-test surveys using a 7-point Likert scale. And dahil voluntary, nasasagutan nila before and at the end of the course, yung average success rate ko na lahat ay sumasagot is minimum of 70%, maximum of 92%. So hindi ako nakakuha ng 100% all throughout the quarters and these semesters. But it's okay. Okay na yung number na yan to make a statistical analysis. So ito yung itsura ng Community Service Attitude Scale. It is a 46-item survey instrument designed to measure the students' attitudes about community service and predict student intentions to engage in community service before and after completing their course. The scale has 4 major dimensions, such as activation, which measures awareness and connectedness to the needs of society; obligation, which measures empathic sense and moral obligation to respond to society's needs; defense, which measures personal stance towards responding to the need based on the perceived importance of the problem and personal costs and benefits; and finally, response, which measures expressed intentions to respond with action to address the need. Gagawin ba talaga nila yung nasa isip nila? Okay? Ang CELEB scale naman, it is used to measure students' perceptions before and after the course of ano yung experience sa service learning, tsaka ano yung benefit na nakuha nila. What did they gain from it? The scale consists of 20 items that fall under 4 main factors: practical skills, interpersonal skills, citizenships, and personal responsibility. Tapos within those ay may mga items siya. So pinakamarami ay practical skills. Dito tinitingnan yung employability nila. Interpersonal skills, yung kanilang leadership and ability to work with others. Citizenship, dito papasok yung kanilang engagement sa society. And personal responsibility, dito papasok yung kanilang pananaw sa sarili nila on how they can work well with others and how they could nurture caring and trusting relationships. Okay, so may pre-test tool. So yung pre-test consists of 12 items, tapos yung post-test consists of 20 items. Okay? So those are the tools that I use to measure yung impact sa mga estudyante. Pagdating naman sa partner communities, no, I'm trying different tools. No, what would work best? So, kasi meron akong 1 year service learning engagement with development study students. So, 2 semesters ng kanilang service learning course. So, ang ginagamit ko is the standardized community impact scale with excellent psychometric properties developed by Srinivas, Minan, Dronin, and the Prince. Tapos pagdating naman sa quarterly and semester based service learning projects, dalawa yung ginamit ko. Titingnan ko kung which would be better. So yung partner community feedback survey, which I got from Towson University and the University of Central Arkansas. And the other one is the community impact feedback questionnaire developed by Lau and Snell. So this is to be answered by key contact persons from partner communities. So ito lang yung itsura ng community impact scale. So it was developed to measure the impact of service learning and other forms of community engagement that occurs between community-university relationships. Specifically, it assesses the impact of service learning projects on partner communities based on their overall experience of their service learning partnership with a university. And from there, a more nuanced perceived benefits in terms of social capital, skills and competencies, motivations and commitments, personal growth and self-concept, knowledge, organizational operations, and organizational resources. Now, such domains are essential to measure a wide range of tangible and intangible outcomes experienced by partners because of these service learning projects. Tapos, ito yung itsura lang niya. So, it is a 5-point Likert scale. Tapos yung may aspect na not applicable, from strongly agree to strongly disagree. So, ito yung mga items. And the other one is ito yung nakuha ko from University of Towson University and University of Central Arkansas. Mas simple siya. This is the partner community feedback survey. So, ginamit ko din ito. Tapos tinignan ko ano yung much better. And the other one is the Community Impact Feedback Questionnaire, developed by Lau and Snell, which they released in 2020. Tapos yung manual on how to use this was released in 2021. So it is designed to capture the impact of service learning on the community partners and service recipients in different aspects, from furthering their mission, augmenting their resources, and acquiring knowledge, insights, ideas, and techniques. It also includes items that measure the extent to which the service project benefited the service recipients and items that cover overall impact. Okay, so those are the tools that I use to measure the impact pagdating sa partner community. So dito na tayo sa results. Kamusta yung results sa mga estudyante? Yung pre- and post-test surveys. So let us first see the community service attitude scales. This was used sa dalawang service learning projects na research-based. So research ang ginawa nila as a service sa kanyang partner community. So they had a comprehensive assessment report para magamit ng partner community sa kanilang mga organizational planning purposes. One is a semestral, may kita nyo table 1. Semester project yan. At yung table 2, this is a quarter project. So may kita ninyo in terms of community service attitude scale, yung semester students, there are about 28 of them. Tapos sa quarter students, there are about 18 of them who answered the pre- and post-test surveys. And walang significant difference na makikita before and after the course. Hinighlight ko yung defense, naka-red yung defense kasi medyo mababa siya. 5.15 lang siya on average. So parang medyo hesitant sila na parang tinatanong kasi dito, willing ka ba na mag-undergo the same experience? Ang mini-measure kasi dito, ano yung mga disadvantage na may experience nila, yung time, yung pagod, yung burnout na naranasan nila. Tapos yung tingnan ko yung mga feedback ng mga estudyante sa qualitative, ang pinaka-major nila is talaga yung purely online setup, nakaka-stress daw talaga sa kanila. Mas maganda sana, mas mabubuhayan sa ng loob if it is a face-to-face interaction. So kaya mababa yung defense part na yan. Pero all the rest, mataas. Mataas yung kanilang activation, obligation, and response. So even before na magkaroon ng service learning project, matataas na yung kanilang pananaw pagdating sa importance ng serving sa community. So kahit hindi magkaroon ng service learning intervention project o hindi magkaroon ng service learning course, ay mataas na yung kanilang aptitude for community service. Second one is pagdating naman sa, tininan ko naman dito, again, Table 3 is semester-based, Table 4 is quarter-based students. Table 3 is, ang ginawa naman nila, iba't ibang klase mga projects from direct service, indirect service, and advocacy services. Tapos yung Table 4 naman, these are Q3 students. Ang puro ginawa nila ay direct services. Makikita nyo, nagkaroon ng significant difference before and after. And pagdating doon sa semester, large practical significance yung difference nila pagdating sa kanilang awareness ng needs ng partner community. At yung feeling nila nagkaroon sila ng matinding connection with the partner communities. Pagdating naman sa Table 4, which are the Q3 students, yung kanilang activation obligation ay nagkaroon ng significant difference, although moderate. And kaya siguro siya moderate, my hunch is because of the time. No, yung isa, mahaba kasi yung time, it is a semester. So mas nag-develop yung relationship nila sa partner communities. Dito, sa third quarter students, maikli, kaya naging moderate yung difference. So, pero makikita ninyo, mamaya i-argue ko, yung kapag research-based services lang, ay wala masyado nangyayari sa mga estudyante. Pero kapag when students are directly involved, no, yung kanilang ginagawang service learning project ay either kinakausap nila yung kanilang mga partner communities, nag-tutor sila, gumagawa sila ng direct service, at gumagawa sila ng advocacy that would benefit the partner communities, mas nafe-feel nila yung kanilang project. Okay? And the last one in terms of using the CELEB scale or the service learning benefit scale. So table 1 here is a semester-based project and table 2 here is a quarter-based project. Makikita nyo, no, lahat, no, except for interpersonal skills, ay nagkaroon ng significant difference. Now, moderate. Pagdating naman sa quarter-based project, ito yung mga Q4 students, quarter 4 students, ang nagbago lang sa kanila yung pananaw nila sa kanilang citizenship and their responsibility towards society. Nagkaroon ng moderate practical significance. In blue siya. So yung mga naka-blue na highlight, doon natin makikita yung mga significant difference in terms of pre and post-test. Kung babalikan natin yung table 1 semester, bakit mababa yung interpersonal skills? Hindi nagkaroon ng significant difference kasi everything is online. So pagkatapos ng online engagement, tapos na kagad yung kanilang pag-uusap, no, sa kanya-kanyang bahay na. So nakukulangan sila ng the ability to interact. So ang comment pa rin palagi nila dito sa qualitative feedback is, we want to go back face-to-face. You know, we want to see our partners. We want to see our classmates. We want to feel the presence of our peers. So yun ang challenge pagdating sa purely online setup. Feedback pa nga ng isang estudyante na nagulat ako. Kahit gaano pa kaganda itong service learning project na ito, tapos yung experience sa course, kulang pa rin. Kasi hinahanap ko ang human touch at human presence. Okay? So, based on those, no, sa student results. Pagdating naman sa partner community results, so yung 1-year service learning engagement, ito yung naging impact sa kanila. No? Yung overall experience nila, pinakamataas sa score yung binigay nila. Very positive experience. Tapos yung kanilang motivation and commitments to work with the student is also brought about. Ito yung pinaka-highest score. 4.73, very favorable impact. There are about 5 partner communities who engage in a 1-year service learning engagement with my students. At ang pinakamababa nilang na binigay is yung organizational resources. Favorable impact lang. Pinakamababa nilang binigay is a score of 3. So ibig sabihin ng 3, walang nangyari in terms of input in economic and organizational resources. Tingnan natin sa mga ibang instruments, no? Consistent din ba yung ganong pangyayari? So in quarter engagements, ganon din, no? May kita natin dito na ang pinaka nag-disagree, yung 6 partner communities naman ito na sumagot from different classes na I've handled during Q2 and Q3, ay lumalabas din that they disagree that the service learning projects brought economic benefits to them. Pero in other areas, strongly agree naman sila. Is either strongly agree or agree. So may kita natin na yung involvement ng yung ginawa ng mga Ateneo students, they produce high quality work. I strongly agree. Well prepared yung mga estudyante. Yung faculty, yung engagement nila sa faculty is very favorable also on their part. So strongly agree that the faculty work with them, naging part sila in crafting the project. Tapos in the future, they still want to engage in service learning partnerships with the Ateneo. Yung another tool na ginamit ko, ito kasi mas nuance, 10-point Likert scale ito. So dito mas nakikita natin kung ano ba yung naging impact sa mga partner communities, no? So yung mga pula, ito yung mga hindi nagkaroon ng significant impact. So help promote the image of my organization. So about the same or none. So whether nagkaroon ng service learning project or hindi, walang nangyari. Tapos it created economic benefits for my organization, about the same or none din. So consistent, no, from the three different tools na ginagamit is in terms of economic impact ay hindi nafe-feel ng mga partner communities. Pero in terms of worth the effort ba nila? Yes, to a moderate extent. Tapos it enabled them to gain new experience? Yes, to a moderate extent. And they strongly agree that overall, the service learning project made us want to continue partnering in service learning in the future. So hindi siya discouraging. So yung economic factor lang yung hindi na-address, but the rest in terms of social capital ay na-address ng service learning engagement from, although iba maliit, yung iba, yung pinakamataas lang yung moderate. No? Hindi ako nakakuha ng strong extent na impact sa kanila. This is based only on 2 partner communities na yung pinasagot ko during the Q4 engagement. Okay, so yan. So from there, what can we learn from this? Based on the results of these assessment tools. My realization, although not generalizable, kasi syempre hindi siya nagkaroon ng random sampling, at the same time, mas maganda sana na implement siya on a university-wide level. So based only from tsaka maraming external variables involved, no? How I deal with partners, how I deal with my students, so hindi siya generalizable. But we could get some insights. So the students generally have a positive disposition towards serving the community even before service learning. So we need to acknowledge that. So malamang, no, ibig sabihin because of they are Ateneo students na ingrained sa kanila yung being men and women for and with others, natanim na yung seed, no, bago pa pumasok yung Soksay 13. Pwede nating tingnan yan, no, in a wide perspective, no, through an assessment study. Pero on my experience, bago pa sila magkaroon ng service learning experience under my course, mataas na ang kanilang kamalayan in serving the community. Pero kahit na mataas ang kanilang kamalayan, we could make significant improvements following these factors. Now, students become more aware and connected. They develop more empathy and moral obligation. They gain more practical skills, citizenship skills, personal responsibility. Kapag yung kanilang engagement ay may concern sa direct, kahit online pa yan, no, direct engagement, direct service with the partner community versus purely online research engagements. Maraming literature that would support this. No? May hierarchy yung mga different approaches. So, meron kasing 4 types of service learning. Merong direct, indirect, advocacy, and research. At palaging pinakamababa yung research. Kasi although kahit nag-i-interview yung mga estudyante, kailangan nilang maging distant sa interpretation of data to be objective. Tapos hindi na nafe-feel yung impact ng research nila. Versus direct, nakakasalamuhan nila, nakakakwentuhan nila yung mga tao. Tapos nakikita nila paano nag-i-impact yung ginawa nilang intervention. And at the same time, based on sa kino-compare ko palagi yung difference ng semester tsaka quarter, is mas favorable sa mga estudyante ang semester setup in terms of statistical difference versus a quarter setup. Para dahil mataas na ang kanilang disposition towards serving the community prior to the engagement, prior magkaroon ng service learning, may ensure natin na mas tataas yon at magkakaroon ng significant difference. If we are aware, if we are guided na ang kanilang service learning projects ay mostly direct at semester-based. Okay? So from there, in terms of partner communities, naging consistent sa mga partner communities that they are able to gain knowledge, skills, and to some extent, access to university human resources, no, such as students and academic staff. At malaking social benefit yun. At greater yon in terms of economic benefits. No? And challenge siya para sa atin, di ba? Because one aspect of service learning is may mga different dimensions tayong tinitingnan na tutulungan natin ang mga partner communities natin. At yung isa talaga na one way to help our partner communities to get out of poverty is to be able to address the economic situation. And alam ko very challenging itong aspect na ito. And many literature would say na kailangan mas long-term na engagement when we want to address economic challenges of partners. And I would continue to use the community impact scale now because I do long-term service learning projects with my students for 1 year. Tapos pagdating naman sa mga short-term service learning projects such as quarter and a semester, I would be using the community impact feedback questionnaire developed by Lau and Snell kasi mas nuanced yung results at mas nakikita ko na hindi naging very critical sa pagbigay ng point system yung mga partner communities. Imbis na perfect score, mas ginigay siya na, okay, 7 lang ito, 8 lang ito. So, for a more nuanced feedback. So, that ends my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sir Avenir. For the participants, the floor is now open for any questions or comments regarding the sharing. You may unmute yourselves or type the questions in the chat box. And we have until 4:00 p.m. for the Q&A. I think we have a question from Maricel Ibita. Did you have to translate the eval forms sa community?
Yes, yung eval forms ay palaging side-by-side merong Filipino version. So, isang line is the English, the second line is the Filipino version.
I think Ma'am Floy Soriano is raising her hand. Po.
Hi sir, good afternoon po.
Good
I'm
afternoon.
from Punla, NSTP 11. So, I commented nga some of your students who went to my immersion during their sophomore year. So I think nga, in terms of disposition, they're already parang imbibe with the spirit na, yes, enough na yung baga immersion na wala kang ginawa, bisita lang, parang ganyan. So, kaya siguro din na nakita ko na research, medyo mababa nga yung terms of agreement na yung impact for the students and the community. Sir, siguro sir, kasi nasa Punla kami, wala naman pa masyadong service learning, no? Ano kaya yung preparatory skills or knowledge that would help further para in preparation for their SOCSI 13 and NSTP 12 po?
Okay. Maraming salamat sa tanong, ma'am. And ako, ang feeling ko, kasi di ba may information program ang OSCE. At dahil statistically, bago sila pumasok sa klase, ay mataas na din ang kanilang kamalayan. So, ibig sabihin, nag-work yung information program. Yung first tsaka second. So, kailangan na lang nating i-level up pa yun pagdating sa SOCSI 13. Okay? And anong mga skills ang kailangan nilang ma-develop? One aspect is napansin ko din is, I don't know kung ano nangyayari sa immersion program, kung natututo ba sila on how to facilitate sessions. And I think that will be addressed by OSCE right now pagdating sa semester setup. Meron silang training skills on how to facilitate talking with the community. Kasi ako, na-witness ko rin, yung mga, kasi pumapasok ko sa mga sessions sa mga estudyante with partner communities, I've witnessed my students, meron silang mga list ng tanong. Tatalungin na rin yung partner community. Tapos, di ba, paminsan-minsan, yung sagot ng partner community, nasasagot na yung mga ibang tanong. Di ba? Pero tatanungin pa nila uli yun. So, hindi sila nakikinig sa kwento. So, kailangan ma-develop nila yung kwentuhan style na susundan nila yung kwento ng partner community. Hindi sila naka-attach sa sa data gathering instrument nila. So I think naman yun, depende din yun kasi napansin ko naman sa mga psych students kayang-kaya nila yun na makipagkwentuhan. Pero for other disciplines, so siguro baka pwedeng papaano ba magpadaling ng kwentuhan sa community ay mas mahuhon through the immersion experience sa Punla.
Sige.
Mark.
Okay. Kayo po muna.
Sige, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon po.
Ako po yung
Ay!
estudyante ninyo sa sa inyong certificate course sa kabilang ibayo, no. Yung dugtungan ko yung sinabi ni Floy, makakatulong din po ba na yung transfer of skills sa sophomore ay sa pamamagitan din ng um, training nila sa relating in Filipino language, kasi na witness ko rin in isang SL group na nag-SL sa isang area namin sa Zambales. Medyo isa lang yung yung kumakambyo talaga sa Filipino, kasi siya yung mas bihasa, ano. The rest is talagang nangangapa in Filipino. Would it matter talaga in terms of the language pagdating diyan sa ganyang klase ng service learning projects?
Maraming salamat, Mike, sa tanong, no, yung language barrier. At napansin ko din yan, no, sa mga estudyante ko. Kasi, for example, when I require them to do a progress report, sinasabi ko, do it in Filipino. Tapos nag-request sila, sir, pwedeng 50-50, ganun-ganung bagay. Tapos, no-observe ko din sa community. At na-appreciate ng community, kahit na baluktot yung iba na mag-Filipino, na-appreciate nila that the students are doing their best to speak in Filipino because they feel na gumagawa ng extra effort yung mga estudyante para maintindihan sila. So hindi siya, para sa akin, hindi critical yung mga partner community na bakit ito mag-Filipino ito? Balu-baluktot. Mas na-appreciate na nila na-feel nila na nag-e-effort yung mga estudyante to reach out to them. So para sa akin, importante that students, no, dahil sanay sila mag-English, kailangan talaga nilang matutong mag-Filipino. At kahit barok pa yan, on my part, on my experience, na-appreciate niya ng partner community. Kasi nafe-feel nila that you are really trying to bridge the gap. You really want to understand them.
Salamat, sir.
Thank you, Mike.
Sir, I have a question po.
Yes, Leon.
What are examples of changes done, or are there ongoing plans to change or adjust the program in order to address the unfavorable points or issues that were identified after getting the survey results from both the partner communities and the students?
Okay, so una sa mga estudyante, so we need to be able to, although kailangan pa ng mas malawakang study ito, no? So I'm proposing an impact study under OSCE on partner communities per se. Then afterward, the next game is for the students. So pagdating sa mga estudyante ay kailangan natin masinop yung service learning highway natin. At the same time, pagdating sa mga academic discipline, magkaroon sila ng long-term service learning course para magkaroon ng talagang malinaw na impact. Yung SOCSI 13 kasi kaya niya short term, no? SOCSI 13, big keys during the semester. Pero sana merong academic course pagdating ng second semester ng mga estudyante, nasasalo ng kung ano ang nangyari during the first sem or the succeeding semester. So kailangan meron ding highway sa loob ng academic department. Sinong sasalo sa SOCSI 13? And I think nandun yung SOCSI 14 although nagulat nga din ako kasi SOCSI 14 is leadership, di ba? Yung nag-uusap kami ng mga, nagturo din kasi ako ng SOCSI 14, nag-uusap kami bakit wala ng partner community component yung SOCSI 14. So pwedeng saluhin doon to be partnered with another major course in their discipline. Although syempre, usapin yun ng human resources. So within the department, kung kaya nilang gumawa ng highway nila na may sasala sa SOCSI 13 to continue the engagement of the students, to make the service learning long-term, then I think that would be a great one. And pagdating sa partner communities, yes. Dahil kasi there are three very crucial components to lift people out of poverty. Nandiyan ang educational component, nandiyan ang health, at nandiyan ang economic component. We could be strong on education, we could be strong on health, pero kapag naiwan natin si economic component, yung impact maaring matagal pa. So ang challenge natin is ano ba yung dapat nating gawin to be able to address the economic challenges faced by our partner communities. Now, I have this experience na ginagawa sa Hong Kong. Meron silang tinatawag na service learning hub na kung saan, kung walang academic discipline na sasalo, yung hub na yun ang sasalo. Nagbibigay siya ng mga grants sa mga estudyante who wants to continue with their service learning projects that they have experienced. At may mga models silang ginagawa from the service learning course, parang na-pilot test ng mga estudyante yung intervention and gusto nilang i-level up. Ang sasagot nyo, yung Service Learning Hub Center, yun ang sasalo for funding sa initiatives ng mga estudyante. So pwedeng i-set up nyo with OSCE or another office in the university na may seed fund para magpatuloy yung ginagawa ng mga estudyante. Kung walang academic discipline na sasalo, pwedeng ang sasalo niya ng student organization or yung team mismo ng mga estudyante na, we want to pursue with this. Kahit hindi na siya academic requirement. Ang kailangan lang namin ay funding. Kung may sasalong funding for that, then go yon. And I think we could address the economic situations of our partner communities.
Thank you for that, sir. Before I wrap it up, siguro, okay, it's 4 o'clock na rin po. So, again, for the questions left in the chat box, I can take note of them na lang and email them to Sir Abinir na lang. So, yun nga po. Thank you po everyone who attended this day 3 of the ADL Learning Exchange. Thank you, Mr. Abinir, Ma'am Mendoza, and Ma'am Rondo for the educational and insightful sharings. And we also thank all the participants who joined us in this final day. And we invite you all to share your insights, questions, and takeaways.